Robert, first of all, let me thank you for the invite and showing us some of the things you've been working towards. Everyone was super nice and welcoming to our needs. I truly believe that you guys have some extremely innovative ideas that could change the hobby in positive ways. I saw many things that I foresee being great in this hobby, but there were also some big concerns that I noticed and didn't want to bring up on camera. I know that things haven't been going the way you wish they would, and I didn't want to rain on the parade, while it was being filmed at least. Understand that I want Deeproot to succeed and to be a contender. Although, if you launch and ship what was shown to us as the final product, I don't see good things coming your way. The playfield pin armor isn't aesthetically pleasing. You noted that you weren't going for aesthetics, but for strength and protection. You also state that you are still working on perfecting the coating process. The orange peel effect will not be appreciated, and people would just rather have dimples occur over time. You stating that you haven't perfected the process and are wanting to start production on this title soon is concerning. Thankfully, the pin pod is just an option. If this was the mandatory shipping container, I would strongly suggest changing it. I can see it being a nice shipping option for the collector and the elite, but majority of customers would be just fine with the regular shipping box. During the presentation about glass/lockdown bar removal, I noticed that even with your new version, we are still in the same pool of having a piece of machine to deal with. The cover segment of the pin bar is no different than what we had before. I am on board with how the glass comes up, that is damn cool. But it would really be beneficial if the pin bar cover segment was attached to the side rails, because this would eliminate the piece in hand issue. During our final moments at the studio later that night, it really became obvious the game's hardware and construction are still in the development phase. I'm pretty sure if I wouldn't have asked to raise the glass, I wouldn't have seen the problems. The engineers seemed very hesitant on removing the lockdown bar. They noted there are issues with it right now. Believe me, there was an issue alright. I was also having a small panic attack with the wiring under the playfield. The wire management was non-existent, and almost every wire being the same color draws some major confusion when it comes to repair. It looks like a rat's nest, to be frank. I can only imagine what a typical consumer's reaction to under the playfield would be. During the same time, an HDMI cable connector broke off while it was in its slot. This is due to the design and can be fixed, but this occurred during a typical lifting and lowering of the playfield. I also have concerns with safety around the rigid edges of the pin bar area. The edges of the metal seem sharp, and it didn't feel entirely comfortable either. There is a reason lockdown bars have rounded edges. I have concerns with the lack of a physical start button. I feel that your games will be highly dependent on the pin bar being fully functional. I have no doubt that I see it being a cool addition, but to really depend on a screen that is completely vulnerable to having damages during home and especially during location use is asking for trouble. If the screen goes out, at least you would have a backup physical button and be able to utilize the main display for choosing items and stuff. Not in your current setup. You would have a non-working game. And with the wiring layout in its current state, I would be very worried about a typical consumer attempting to replace the screen. When it comes to the playability of the game, we didn't get the full experience, and that wasn't very pleasing at all, but in the short time I noticed that the ramp shot is very doable. In fact, too doable, meaning that the right ramp that directs to the right in lane will rarely, if ever, be used. Also noted during my examination of the game were very apparent wire management issues, and the machine honestly looked like a polished homebrew machine, which is not good for a company that has supposedly been working on this for years. Now let's talk about manufacturing. This is where you lost me, and almost everyone else too. Walking into that area and not seeing multiple games even semi-put together was a big red flag. Then we are informed that you are still working on getting a supplier for parts. Red flag. No line workers hired or being trained for such work. Red flag. Only having one game that doesn't boot. Huge red flag. Others have brought up valid concerns about the marketing plans and game launch schedules. That isn't my forte, and I leave that up to them to bring to you with concerns. The cabinet for the Extra Edition is different. That won't be widely accepted off the cuff. These days, modern pinball machines don't need a back box. They haven't changed the style because they know people want certain things to remain the same. Not telling you to change it, just be prepared for haters on that. I am sending this email to you directly and offering my opinion because I really want Deeproot to succeed, Robert. This visit left me with very mixed emotions. I saw so much potential on what is being developed. If you were just giving us an update on the R&D of your innovations, then I wouldn't be too concerned. But you are talking about shipping out games very soon, with not having things ready to go. More engineering and polish needs to be done before this product will be widely accepted to the masses. That is your tagline on the shirt, pinball for the masses. If you ship what we experienced this weekend, I do not think things will go well. I would strongly recommend you reconsider your launch date. You asked for feedback, good or bad. Here is mine. I eagerly wait for your announcement to the public tomorrow, and people are eager to hear what I have to say. Sincerely, Cary Hardy.